Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire, growing ever more shaggy, but sort of trying to maintain it a little bit, and perpetually late as always, although oddly comforting this time around. It's due to the fact that, well, in trying to record for this last weekend, all of my videos ended up having the audio desync from the video itself. This has come up in at least one other video that I'm aware of that has recently come about. Oh, and that noise you hear is my own little co-host, my most adorable co-host, journeyman storyteller and initiate to the Seventh Circle of Lore, Nora. She is busy restocking and reorganizing our provisions here at the Gamer's Den. You may hear her clattering around every once in a while. As a matter of fact, there she goes. Hard at work as always. Be careful, little one. Alright, so with that said, we are continuing on today, hopefully with no issues in editing, going on with Putting It All Together Part 5, and today is Minion Madness. Albeit this is going to be just a little bit of a shorter one because, one, just my own time constraints with getting ready for school again, work, maintaining the education and induction of the little one into deeper circles of lore and ever further mysteries, and also just maintaining a general livelihood and trying to make time for my family. But also, and just as important, is I want there to be a certain level of flexibility here, a flexibility in creating these different kinds of minions. That's why I'm presenting a template, and it's a template that I made myself, although I based it off of another existing template. Now, templates, for those of you that don't know, they are like another layer that you can put on top of already existing NPCs, whether they're NPC characters with class levels, or if it's just monsters and critters that you pull out of any of the bestiaries back there. And these templates can let you give certain classic characters or NPCs that your players have seen time and time again, and giving them a little extra flavor, a little extra oomph and fire in their bellies that make them stand out and be a little bit more unique. And in particular, the template that I came up with is the diseased template. Now, this one is a variation, like I said, of another existing template, but that other one just kind of was a little bit too much, and I wanted something scaled back a little bit. What this one does is when you apply it to a creature, it gives them a +4 bonus to their constitution score, as well as disease immunity, and then they get a special effect in the form of a miasma. It's a difficulty 10 plus 1/2 their hit dice or their character level for a fortitude save that the players have to make when they enter the immediate 5-foot area around them. If they fail, they become sickened for 1 round. If they succeed, they're good for 24 hours afterwards to that particular creature's miasma effect. The second ability that they get is the Plague Bearer effect. All of their natural attacks that the diseased creature may make, when they strike the target, they can cause blinding sickness, and the fortitude save is the same here. Difficulty with a base of 10 plus 1/2 the hit die for the fortitude save. So if it's a level 6 character or a creature with 6 hit dice, they apply half of that to the 10 for the fortitude save, coming up with a 13 there. Now, the basic creature that I added this template to is the diseased grizzly. Well, just a grizzly bear, but now it's a diseased grizzly. We've infected it successfully. Elias Briarthorn's maddening, cold, sickening hatred has spread, and his corruption is reaching out to the very creatures of the forest. And now this grizzly bears are already beefy, tanky kinds of animal critters, and this template makes them even more so. They only have an initiative score of +1, but they do get low light vision and they have sense, so they can use their perception checks to track creatures that they can't see. Armor class is 16, touch armor of 10, flat-footed is 15, Their hit points normally come up to about 42 in their basic listing for the book or any of the online resources like the Paizo boards. But in this case, with the template added on, getting that +4 Constitution modifier gives them an extra 2 hit points for every hit die. So we get a nice extra 10 here for a +30, giving them a solid 52 hit points. Now, you can roll out those individual dice if you like to try to come up with something higher, but this is a pretty solid average right here. Now, what's handy here is that now that this grizzly's beefier and tankier, this makes a pretty robust target that can eat up a lot of the character's attacks. Not only that, they do a decent amount of damage with a 1d6 plus 5 points of damage with their claw attacks. Plus, they can potentially grab a target and have them grappled and keep on biting them. So, and they take up a large space too. They take up a 10 by 10 area. They only have a 5-foot reach, but this is a big, beefy, wide target that can block the player's way, keep them trapped, or form a nice solid point for other lines of creatures to form up on. And this really does a lot to help make what is already a fairly tough creature into an even more difficult encounter. And this gets even trickier when you couple it with other critters, other NPCs that you might throw at them. Because let's be honest here, Elias Briarthorn in this situation is wanting to annihilate a growing town, plus the surrounding settlements. While it's not a massive city, it's not a walled, impregnable fortress that's built to withstand massive sieges, it's still going to require a lot of manpower in order to overcome. So there's going to be all kinds of NPCs that you can make use of, all sorts of animals, even phase spirits, the different members of the druidic order that might be called under his sway, that might fall under his banner, plus the wandering nomads that happen to worship this particular druidic circle or the sacred sites that the druids maintain. These all can come under that banner, and just as important as the rank and file minions, you're going to want to put together officers that Elias can delegate different responsibilities to. He's just one man, powerful as he is, and just so deeply powerful a spellcaster, he still needs people to oversee different functions, because some people are going to be better at different jobs than others. He may have a barbarian underneath of him that serves him loyally, serves as his champion, bringing their banner to bear over the course of battle, or holding aloft whatever totem, or going out and seeking the strongest and most dangerous of opponents and cutting them down, to boost not only their own morale, but to decimate enemy morale and remove potentially dangerous obstacles. He may have assassins that deal with troublesome characters, like the players, for example. And also, speaking to that, something that I'm going to recommend here is, well, it's something I've recommended before, drawing inspiration and information from many, many different sources. I'd like to reach back to 3rd edition Dungeons & Dragons, specifically the 3rd Monster Manual. Because in page 196, there's a particular creature that I really like, and we are going to use in order to display this creature properly for you. It is called the Woodwode. Absolutely incredible creature to make use of in this instance. And what did I tell you? This is the most incredible work here. Highly technical, very, very sophisticated. Hopefully you're keeping up with me here. But the Woodwode is a plant creature, and thankfully plants are subject to disease like so many other creatures are. And in this case, a Woodwode normally has a challenge rating of 4, much like a grizzly bear, and with the disease trait would go up to a challenge rating 6. But the thing is, these have a good deal more intelligence at a 7, so they're capable of using tactics. They use weapons, and they have skin that's gnarled like bark, branch-like fingers, and tangly rooting feet that keep themselves tied to the ground. And the best part is that they have tree stride, meaning, like druids and certain rangers using magic, they can step into a tree and teleport out of another tree within the ability's effect radius. And what this does is this creates a rapid response force. Since Elias Briarthorn is tied to all creatures with the disease template using the Crown of Yamnaris, he can be looking through them at any given time. He can't see through all of them at once. Well, maybe if you want to adjust him a little bit, you can say he can. Oh, one moment. My most adorable co-host and journeyman storyteller here has brought forth her homunculus, who she has shaped in the form of Moana. I need to go and bedeck her in new raiment, so please excuse me for just one moment. We'll be right back. There, properly clothed like any princess should be. So, like I was saying, because they can use weapons, they're tough, they can teleport around, Elias Briarthorn can maintain a squad of these, say about 4 to 6 of them, maybe even 8, depending on the size of the party or their capabilities, or even their levels. But then again, you can also adjust the relative levels and strength of the creatures. But point being, this is a rapid response force. So if the players get engaged in combat with a group of diseased animals and Elias is aware of them and goes, these are the ones that have been causing problems for me. These helped keep the water wheel in place so that the town can keep milling grain. They have stopped my plot to poison the rivers with my corruption. They need to be dealt with now. I'm going to send an elite strike force. And so now, what was an easy to maybe sort of difficult fight for the players now gets to be even more tricky as a group of 6 woodwoads show up, stepping out of the trees around them, leaving them surrounded and potentially flanked in many instances. So now the fight gets to be even trickier and more interesting. Even if in normal conditions the players might actually mop the floor with the woodwoads, they are still going to be faced with an added challenge here. In particular sense, you can indicate to the players that perhaps there may be more. There may be another wave coming. So if it's an instance where you want the players to retreat, or at least get them to think about disengaging a little bit and backing away from an area that they're really not prepared for, now you have an easy in to do this. And not only that, the players learn of this particular capability that this druidic circle has. And it's also an opportunity for Elias Briarthorn to learn about the players and their capabilities as well. That's one of the points of, well, story-wise, it just fits that the Crown of Yamnaris lets him do this and is also part of the source of corruption and lets him benefit from spreading this corruption. But it gives you a mechanical way for the big bad to learn as much about the players as possible. But the players are also going to learn from him because by exposing them to the fact that blinding sickness is a common thing, disease and nausea and sickness are common things and effects that are going to be experienced throughout the course of this campaign, that signals to the players early on that in relatively easy fights, certainly in comparison to fighting Elias Briarthorn himself, that they need to be prepared for sickness and disease. So this way, they're not entirely blindsided by something that they just utterly didn't expect. They're going to know that they're facing druids. That means spell casting. In this case, it's a blighted druid. It's a blighter who has blinding sickness. So you've put all the breadcrumbs there to let them know what they need to prepare for. That way, nothing's a surprise and they can't cry foul and say, you cheated. You created something that was completely beyond our scope or ability to prepare for. But, it happens. But in this case, we build it up. It's all part of these themes. It's all presented here in the mechanics that we have in this adventure, and you can put it all together and have it all make some kind of sense and clue the players in early on while they have the opportunity to do so, assuming they're paying attention. That's the big one. But there's certainly more that can be done. There's more that should be done. By no means should you stop here with this. Like I said, build different kinds of NPCs. Build different officers for this army. I mean, I'm always partial to having a particularly skilled and deadly assassin myself. It sends a really strong message to the players, whether you have one of the players be a target or an important and vital NPC, say someone that's supplying them with a lot of cure disease potions and things that are remedies for sickness and nausea. All of that fun jazz. Removing those kinds of obstacles would be something that the druids would do. It's something that a thinking, reasoning enemy would do, even if the reasoning is skewed because they're blinded by hatred to the point of madness. But still, there's going to be logical steps and progressions, and through building these minions, which are going to be a reflection of their leader, their capabilities, and their methods, and whatever their goals may be, you're going to clue the players in to what is going to happen for the end fight. But there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to put together a campaign and adventure. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, I've been Jordan, your host, Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire. Thank you all for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.